Hello everybody, welcome to week 1 of the PCL Island Tour. Switch this back to the fucking team builder window, you mongoloid. My opponent for this week is Crystal, coach of the Huthwaite Heracross. In case you missed the draft review slash rule review, I guess, you have a travel team that is consisting of 3 Pokemon that comes with you week to week. For me, it's Tornadus T, Slowbro, and Rhyperior, and for my opponent, it's Celesteela, Mega Altaria, and Quillfish. So, pretty scary 3 from both of us. And then you have an island team consisting of 8 Pokemon that switches week to week. So for my opponent, my island, which we both get to use the islands we drafted for week 1. So I have Lando T, Latios, Registeel, Rotom Heat, Porygon 2, Liepard, Smeargle, and Volibee, and my opponent has Zero Aura, Toxapex, Shaman, Centiskorch, Cofagrigus, Cryogonal, Mudsdale, and Audino. So, pretty scary, rambunctious group of misfits for my opponent. So, let's hop right into the game. Building portion, gaming. I'm bringing a Nasty Plot Rotom Heat with Dual Stab. The only answer to this on the team is a Mega Altaria, and if I Will-O-Wisp that, then it's less of a threat, and if it's forced to Heal Bell, then I have a team that takes advantage of it, just in general. So yeah, that's Rotom. It's Dual Stab and Will-O-Wisp, and it's good. Up next we have Torn T, Nasty Plot, Hurricane. Heatwave smacks the 2 flying checks, or the 2 special flying checks, which in my opinion are, aside from Pex, because it's Pex and it's stupid, but my team destroys Pex, so I don't expect to see it. I did prep for it, obviously, because I brought 3 of my mons that destroy it, but not all 5, don't worry, I didn't bring all 5 Pokemon that destroy Pex. But I Heatwave smacks Celesteela and Cryogonal for super effective damage. At +2, this thing runs Train. It takes the Plasma Fists with the Wakan Berry. Not running Boots on either this or Rotom or even Landorus because the only Stealth Rockers on Mudsdale. It's pretty much a sealed slot, and I'm bringing a team that takes advantage of Mudsdale because I'm bringing 4 flying fucking Pokemon. So. Or levitating Pokemon, I guess. So, yeah. Up next we have Lando. Weird set, but it makes sense. The only real answer to it is Shaman. Once I smack down the Celesteela. I guess Gravity probably would have been better, because that also lowers the Cryogonal, makes it so it can't switch in, so she can't pivot between Cryogonal and Celesteela, and I guess pre-Mega Altaria as well. So Gravity was probably the better choice. But I also like Smackdown because it OHKOs Centiskorch, whereas Earthquake doesn't, I'm pretty sure. At neutral, it depends on the sets, but yeah. I felt like Smackdown was just a decent choice. Yeah, this just hits really hard. I love Landorus T, it's a good Pokemon. Most people like Landorus T, it's a good Pokemon. I'm actually have a Specs Latios. The only switch-ins to Specs Psychic / Psyshock are Audino and Celesteela. T-Bolt's obviously there for Celesteela, and if I trick the Audino, if it shows up, then that is really swell. Psyshock's there because it does more damage to Cryogonal than Psychic does, obviously. I pretty much only needed Psychic moves. I was thinking about putting on Ice Beam to hit Altaria really hard, but in the end I decided to go for Trick, because Audino was a problem. Next we have Fizdef's Registeel with Rocks. It's got Toxic on there because Mudsdale is annoying. S-Toss for reliable damage against Celesteela, Quillfish, Pex in a 1v1, and Mudsdale. I guess Audino too. Heavy Slam, I have a bit of attack investment to break Shaman substitutes if it's max HP. I believe that's what the spread is for. And then the rest just chucked into Fizdef with 12 speed for creeps. And last but not least, a very bulky P2 with Bolt Beam coverage. It covers a decent amount of the team. Bolt Beam coverage is nice, and it's just a fat wall that can grant me momentum into my breakers. So yeah, 4 breakers, 2 walls, the standard big thing. So yeah, let's hop right into the game. So yeah, my opponent elected to bring Celesteela, Mudsdale, Cryogonal, Shaman, Zero Aura, and Kafagrigus. I did not expect to see the Shaman, really. I have a lot of grass checks on my team, and I figured pretty much at team preview that she brought a lot of her good Lando answers, and that's pretty much the main reason I expected to see Shaman, was as a Lando check. I really expected to see Altaria in the Shaman slot. I didn't really think, especially because Kofag came, I didn't really expect to see Kofag or Shaman. I expected mostly to see Audino and Altaria in those two slots. But this is a welcome addition. Shaman is particularly easy for this build to check because look at how many grass resists I brought. Kofag is a pretty annoying mon for Lando, and it can 1v1 Registeel with body press and stuff. If it's rest, rest, iron defense, body press, and probably like Hex or something, then it could be really annoying. But I do have 3 pretty solid special breakers for that. It could also run Knockoff for P2, so that could be really annoying as well. But overall, pretty happy to see what I'm seeing. I figured Celesteela, Mudsdale, Zero Aura were all locks. Cryogonal was on the fence because it does check, like, it does offensively destroy my 3 best Pokemon because they're all weak to Ice, but getting it in is going to be relatively hard. So yeah, I am going to lead with Registeel because I'm expecting the Rocker to lead off. I really don't expect to see the Zero Aura lead, but even if it does, I can just potentially get up Rocks against that. I would, or even Poison it, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm just going to lead with Reggie, as the Mudsdale is indeed going to be the lead. So she is going to set up her Rocks, but I'm going to Poison the Mudsdale because I want as much damage on this as possible to free up Landorus, and I need some damage on it for Psychic to kill if it's Spadef. So that is my rationale, and I'm going to get up my Rocks now as the Celesteela is going to come in. So I'm going to S-Toss as a precaution, as indeed the Celesteela does try to catch me switching out. So I'm going to get up an S-Toss off on the sub. As the Leech Seed goes off, I elect to S-Toss again. The main reason I'm playing so gung-ho with my Registeel is that because I saw sub, I knew this was a defensive Steela. There's no way an offensive Steela is going to come in on a Registeel and not immediately attack. And Leech Seed obviously confirms that it's defensive. Sub-Autotomize could potentially be annoying for my team. Excuse me, but it's strapped for coverage, and setting up this early is really bad because I still have a full health Porygon 2 and a full health Rotom Heat. And it doesn't have good coverage to hit everything. So I'm trying to scout out its 2 moves. What I'm thinking it's going to have is a Steel move and a Rock move. I don't know if it... I think it got Meteor Beam, but it doesn't have... Obviously doesn't have a Power Herb, so that's not a real threat in this particular instance. So I'm expecting to see Stone Edge and Heavy Slam on this, which Registeel potentially 1v1s and comes out good against, and nothing really wants to switch into Registeel off the hop because I have the Mudsdale poisoned. The only real thing I'm afraid of coming in is an Iron Defense Iron Defense Kafagrigus. So I'm just going to try and spam S-Tosses here to get this thing low. My opponent is actually going to reveal the Fire Blast and miss. Obviously that is huge, because the damage on Registeel means that would mean that I can't really use this as a check to Shaman, Cryo, and Zero Aura later, but obviously dodging that is huge, because I get free damage on the Steela, and the Fire Blast obviously would take a chunk out of me in combination with the Leech Seed, so that really sucks for my opponent, obviously. But I'm going to go into Rotom, because there's no way the last move on that is Stone Edge. It absolutely needs to be Flash Cannon or Heavy Slam, because Latios pretty much sets up on a no-stab Celesteela. The Mudsdale's going to come in. I'm not exactly sure what that was trying to catch. I guess it was trying to catch another S-Toss, get some Leech Seed recovery back, and scare me out. But I'm going to go into my Rotom, and I'm going to take this as an opportunity to get up a Nasty Plot, because I kind of expected a Fizdef Mudsdale. I guess Spadef was probably a bit more obvious, though, because Fizdef can take on an offensive Landorus decently well anyway, because its natural bulk is just good, and especially when it has max HP. And Yeah, but I figured at +2, if it's Fizdef, it'll just drop. If it's Spadef, it's a roll, possibly. But my opponent's going to miss a Toxic, and that is pretty big because I'm going to be, she's going to be robbed of damage in this exchange because obviously once the poison's going to go off here, I'm going to have the same amount of health because of my lefties. The Muds is going to go down, but that really sucks for my opponent. I'm going to go for a Nasty Plot. I mean, it's not really worth it to dwell on it, but yeah, the damage on Registeel being robbed from and my Rotom coming out more peachy than it should have really sucks. I'm not going to try and spin that any other way. I'm going to go for the Nasty Plot here because of the lack of chip on my Rotom, I can easily tank a Hex from a non-offensive Kofag. And if it's an offensive Kofag in this matchup, I applaud my opponent. If it gets up a Trick Room, I still take a Hex unless it's Life Orb, which I doubt it'll be. I think it would be like Trick Room, Nasty Plot, Hex. Um, I don't know, something weird to hit P2, I guess. Maybe knuckle, I don't know. But I figured it wouldn't be that. As she goes for the rest, I assume expecting an Overheat to come out because that would be the only real line of logic that would make sense. So, yeah, my opponent is going to rest. Unfortunately for her, I do go for the Nasty Plot. Toxic is starting to rack up a bit, so I'm going to take out 2 Pokemon. But this thing is still an offensive threat, but I really cannot switch anything into a knockoff from this Zero Aura. I could take a CC still, and getting a Wisp off on this would be great, but of course some Justice is going to come down. It's not enough really, because this would be dead by now if that Toxic hit before, but a little bit of Justice is fine. Obviously, a little bit of Justice is good, is what I mean to say. My opponent's going to two-shot me with Knockoff here. Again, really nothing that wants to come in. I really don't want to switch Lando in on this this early and lose my leftovers. So, I also want to potentially bluff that I'm Scarf. So, I'm going to go into the Landorus, bluff the Scarf here, and get up a Substitute, as my opponent is basically forced to switch. You really should never, ever risk that. Celesteela is going to come in, and I'm going to set up a sub. I probably should have just SD'd. But I am going to go for the Smackdown. I figured if I SD'd, something fishy would be in the air. My opponent would probably scout by pivoting into a Shaman on the Smackdown. But getting up a sub after SDing there probably would have been the best plan of action on my end. So, yeah. Either way, this sequence was probably poorly handled by me. I'm going to go for an SD on the Shaman coming in. And I do get a bit of lefties back off of that, but yeah, I did scare out the Celesteela. I'm keeping it low. Smackdown negates its lefties, takes off 6%. It's going to come in and take rocks. It's not going to be in a good spot. So I'm going to go into one of my three living grass resists, and go into my Torn. Pretty much expecting this to be like Life Orb or something. Go for a Seed Flare. I can swallow 2 of those, U-turn out, potentially get some momentum. As this thing reveals to be choice specs, because it does 51% to my Tornadus Therian. So I'm just going to go straight for the Hurricane because something will die. Well, not will die. If she goes Zero Aura, it becomes a bit more hairy. Obviously, it can eat up a Hurricane and outspeed me and obviously kill me through the Whacken because I'm at a quarter of my health. So the Celesteela is going to come in and get sacked. I'm going to go ahead and Heat Wave. Nothing wants to switch into a Heat Wave. And then Zero Aura is the switch in here. I'm going to go into my Lando because it's a very, very, very reliable check to this. While it's alive, knock off. I really don't care about getting knocked at this point. Lando's sole purpose is to check the Zero Aura, so that is what it is here for. So I'm going to go ahead and go for an Earthquake. I figured this would catch my opponent trying to make a play to get back in the game. If the Shaman comes in on an Earthquake plus Rocks, that means I can click Heat Wave on my Torn. I can click Psychic and kill the Shaman, the offensive Shaman, with my Latios. I was pretty sure I can even click Psyshock and kill it. If my opponent stays in, nothing that the Zero Aura can do can kill me, unless it crits like Outrage or something. And if it crits an Outrage, I can go into my P2, heal off the damage, and then be good from there, because P2 can check a lot of the mons on her team, maybe even teleport out on the switch. Maybe even tank a CC or something, bring in Latios, go from there. Yeah, so the Grass Knot is revealed. That's obviously there for Rhyperior, but Lando is is neutral to that. I'm going to knock this thing out with an Earthquake. If the Cryogonal came in on an Earthquake, that's a good play, but I have two really good checks in the back that are healthy. One that really shouldn't be as healthy as it is, but still two checks in the back regardless. The Shaman's going to come in. I don't want anything to die, so I'm going to let Lando go down. Unfortunately for her, she misses, so I get an Earthquake hit off, which means that I can actually lock myself into Psyshock with Latios now and win the game on the spot. So the Cryogonal's going to be sacked. I don't really agree with that, but it's whatever. It really didn't have a she didn't really have a chance to get back into the game anyway, unless like she crit a Seed Flare on a fucked up speed creep on my Latios. I'm pretty sure I took a crit Seed Flare anyway, but yeah, I'm going to be faster, knock out the Shaman, and win this game 4-0. Pretty hacksy. Obviously, the early game really sucked for my opponent. The Seed Flare miss on the Lando made it so I could win a lot easier. Yeah, I feel like I just built for the team she brought. I feel like I just kind of won this one in preview, but obviously the hacks did not help my opponent at all in an already rough matchup. So very sorry for that, but I guess we take the wins as they come. I believe that gives me 4 island points for this week because I won and it was my island that I was using. So that gives me 4 points in the standings, which is very, very solid. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it works. So yeah, that's a good win. Really rough for my opponent, but we take them as they come. So next week I play the Chicago Chinchu, coached by Paluki, and it is the island he's going to be landing on is a dedicated rain team. I don't remember what his top 3 is. I could check in my notebook right now. Ding Dong, the Wicked Witch is Gallade, Mega, Noivern, Nidoking, and then it's just fucking rain. So Noivern and rain is going to be fun, I guess. I have a Registeel, or not a Registeel, Regice on my island, so I go from one Regi to another. That'll be funny. But yeah, a nice solid win week 1, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So see y'all in the next. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like as well. Comment on how I should have played better, and why Pokemon sucks, because it is a luck-based game of chance. Thank you all. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.